We're back, people, and today we're going to film on Jaylen Wright, Miami Dolphins running back, going over the rookie season film, and, just looking at it, I do think he will break out going into year 2. He still has the great traits that you want for this Dolphins system, and he had some good games, especially like this Patriots game, some big plays versus the Colts. Like, there's good moments on there to, take away from it, and you can still see, like, the acceleration at his size is absolutely ridiculous. I think there was two main things that kind of held him back, especially as the season went on, is one, the blocking. There was just not great blocking up front from, the O-line and the wide tight ends. I think that's something the Dolphins are going to put emphasis on is the blocking, as they knew that the run blocking was like one of the biggest things holding the offense back. So I think that's something that will be improved. Also, just like Austin Jackson being hurt them a lot as well, like the whole run blocking. And I think it wasn't just like a Jaylen Wright issue. It was also like, look at Achan's numbers, run game numbers, how much they went down from year 1 to year 2, just because of the blocking up front. And then also I just think opportunities. He didn't have many games where he got a lot of opportunities. Really, the only one where he got like a decent chunk of opportunities was that New England game, and he had a good game. You still had Austin Jackson in there, who's a good run blocker. It was probably Ingold's best game of his season. So I think, it's just one of those positions that really relies on a lot of other people, but he still has the physical skill set. And I think they're going to probably move on from the veteran running backs on the roster. And I think Achan, obviously a guy going to get a lot of work, but I think they're going to try to get more receiver type looks for him as the year goes on. So Jaylen Wright is going to have to, get a lot of more opportunities going into the next season. I think he can take advantage of them if he really just gets a little bit of help. But you can still see, like, some of the stuff. We'll break this down. This is one of my favorite runs this season. Just pure lead outside zone with the fullback. Love him finding the cutback lane. He's one of those guys that doesn't have a lot of outside zone experience because they didn't really do that in college where he went Tennessee. So he can do a lot of their stuff, but like for this guy at his size, who's like about 5'10", 210, with his 4.3 speed, he's got some really good footwork, which I think helps him a lot. Like, look at his feet here. Finding the cutback lane. When you're going here, you're reading the end man line scrimmage down, so this guy's outside leverage. Kind of working off the back of this right here now. He's 74, kind of set, like, in control. So now he just wants to work off the back of Ingold, find Ingold, and look how just efficient his feet are. Press up the field, and then also make another cut, chain those moves together to find the cutback lane. He's staying square with his shoulder pads, and his feet are super active. Love seeing that. Point the toe, and then get upfield. Now that he's upfield, look at him bend the path back to where you want to be, because he find the cutback lane, but then you want to bend to get back on that landmark, which he does to maximize yards, get skinny, kind of run through some tackles. And also just, like, look at the acceleration right there. A lot of players struggle, like, when you have to, like, go in it's called curvilinear movement. When you're not going, like, completely straight, you're going in a curvilinear, like, 45-degree almost angle. A lot of people struggle to accelerate, but look how much he accelerates and gets his speed there. He's got such good accelerative traits. His ability to, like, accelerate after contact and also just, like, out of nowhere like that, at different angles, it's so special. If they're able to get him out in space, man, he can really take advantage of some of these opportunities. It's not even just outside zone. Like, he's got some great gap scheme work. This one got called back from holding, which was kind of weak, but kind of look, Dolphins up front. They're down blocking. They're pulling Eichenberg across. Eichenberg's kicking out. You're basically following Ingold up through the hole. And then look at him just, like, he makes this read. There's sometimes he left some plays on the field, but when you don't have a ton of opportunities as a rookie, it's kind of hard to get into a rhythm in a game. Look at him press up into this, and then look at this cut, dude. Like, from right here with not a ton of momentum, he had to make, like, a little bit of a jump. Out of that jump to then hit that foot in the ground and accelerate around this defender and do that at that angle is so impressive, these types of traits. And you can almost look at it right as a guy that's coming from this upcoming draft class, because they traded a third this year to really get him in this last draft. And I do think, like, if you look at this running back class, he would still be ranked pretty highly. Like, I think he would probably be after the, like, there's like a clear top 4 in this class. I think after that, he's probably in that next tier. You can just see, like, look at that explosiveness, man. For him to get around the edge there, very, very special explosive traits. And I'm not don't want to use special lightly, because, like, look at this. Look at the acceleration from this angle. Getting the toss right here. When you're in this spot, like, this is an athletic edge. There's a linebacker there. For him to just put on the gas and to get completely around him without really getting slowed down at all. Like, look at the acceleration here. It's special that he gets there. And even the linebacker, who kind of was like, oh my god, I gotta make this adjustment, ends up pulling on the back and ends up pulling him for, like, a horse collar. Just really insane stuff there from Wright. Like, so he's a guy that can capture the edge. You can use the outside zone stuff. But he also has a lot of experience working downhill and inside zone. Lots of, like, different, like, power and counter things. Like, he can very much do that. He's got good footwork. Like, look at this. He stays patient, allows the blocks to develop, because he can see it. He's anticipating here. He sees this guy's in control here, but he can feel. He wants to work off the back of Jackson, and he can see 74 behind it. He can see the lane sort of happening. He knows he has to do a slight hesitation, get behind it, and then look at him, boom, accelerate through. And look at him build up some speed here. Once he starts to accelerate, build up the speed, and look at the contact balance he has. This is pure collision, just taking on a guy, staying on your feet, following forward, maximizing yards. That's why I'm like, dude, this guy, he's got good size to him. So, like, giving him some opportunities to really carry the load. Like, I think he's a guy that can be, like, kind of a workhorse for you if you really wanted to, and then have Achane be, like, an absolute weapon that you're using in so many different ways. Here's another example of that acceleration. One, you get these tosses. You get this blocked up pretty well. He does a good job, one, pressing this to the outside, like his angle here. By pressing outside, you force these guys to commit even farther to the outside. Like, if he immediately tried to run through this hole, the angles to get to him would be a lot easier. But by him pressing the outside, and then look at this acceleration. Like, to accelerate through and away from 91 here is insane. Like, 91 in most situations right here should be able to get like a decent hit on him. But Wright is so fast and able to adjust that angle more to the outside that 91 doesn't even really slow him down at all. That's really not normal for a guy of Jaylen Wright's size to be able to pull that off. Just constantly picking up chunk gains in that game versus the Patriots. I still feel like there's a lot of potential to work with. I like the draft class overall. There's sometimes, right, I think, like, this is there's sometimes where I think he's maybe a little late on a cutback, an outside zone. He's still working on it. Like, here, he's able to stop, but he does find it and get there. Work through an arm tackle, drop his, shoulder pads into people around the first down line. This Colts game, this is where he had 2 back-to-back runs. This is the first one of it. He gets about 9. And then it's the next play, which is just like a third and short. It was either third or second and short, I can't remember. But, like, they just downhill, straight up. Looks like they're basically working some duo out there with the combos here, and he just gets downhill, works off the back of it, and it picks up the first down. But now once he's here, he's just like, oh, stayed on my feet. And then look at that burst. The burst when he has, like, no momentum to get around and almost pull away from that safety. Like, in most situations, a lot of running backs are going to get tackled, like, around, I would say, the 35, maybe even less. But he doesn't even get really touched until, like, the 32-yard line, and ends up falling down at the 26. Just pure speed, momentum type thing. And then stuff like this, like, not even like big runs, but like there's like look at the the feel for it. He feels like to cut this back, and for him to have to jump up here and then pick up his legs again, like to work through contact in these types of ways. Like, when he picks up the legs like that, that's just natural feel as a runner. And there's like some like kind of explosive sort of trait connected to this, like picking like up the field like that. It's just an underrated part of his game that I think in situations allows him to get extra yardage. There, it obviously helps out. Also, yeah, just like not every run's going to be the home run hitter, but I like that he can also do stuff like this where things maybe he has a little momentum. He just picks up his feet again to stay up and fall forward. Like, this is one where you could get tackled for like a 2-3 yard gain, but he picks up his feet, kind of jumps over hurdles, shows balance to regain and stay on his feet to then fall forward for a few extra yards, pick up like 6 on the play. That is something that you want to see out of your backs when things don't go perfectly. There's definitely examples of him not quite doing that, but for the most part, it was pretty good on the season. Here's the toss stuff again. Things are blocked up really well, and he has the explosiveness to take advantage. Look at this burst from here to there. Like, he is flying. Like, look how fast he is moving. I mean, starting to slow down there, but he's flying. And then look at that transition. Like, he's almost picked up full speed, and then look at him, boom, just 2 feet, and then get back upfield exactly vertical. Like, that is really good transitional change of direction ability. It doesn't matter too much in this situation because he kind of just throws his body in the safety, falls forward a little bit, but that just shows, like, these are the traits that you want in your running back on an outside zone. Something that has the explosiveness to hit these holes, but then also when you're going at speeds like that, to make that type of transitional cut very, very special. That's why the traits are all there for like a successful running back in the Dolphins system. He has a nice little jump cut there, just working off the back of angles on these outside zone leads. Find the cutback lane. He gets up in here, kind of stops on a dime, makes that transitional jump cut, and then fall forward through contact to pick up like 8 or 9 on the play. Very, very good stuff. And there's just a lot of examples like this where I feel like, sometimes teams knew it was coming, like that, the Dolphins do the fake sort of dive toss with the crack toss element. Like, there's just nowhere for Jaylen Wright to go in these situations. This happens so often where, like, he was either getting hit as he got the ball or, like, there's nothing for him to do. Like, there's sometimes he can create, but usually he needs a little bit of momentum to create. This one is just like, this guy's got the outside. He tries to find the cutback lane. If he even makes that first guy miss, everyone's there. There's like 4 or 5 people unblocked. There's just too many examples just like that. Here's another example, different sort of concept. Dolphins, working some counter action with a, tight end lead up through. And then you just have the second level defender coming unblocked. Right, identifies it, has to avoid him, and then he works straight into the D tackle. Like, there's nowhere for him to go in those situations. It's just very, very tough ask. And this plays like that. This is a second and long, and just look at the speed to capture the edge. They work some pin pull here, and he kind of presses up into this. Look at him just get to the outside, change that angle, to pick up like a 12-yard gain on like second and like it was like 19 or something like that. Very good work from Wright. I feel like he's just a guy you can get those touches. This is what I wanted to show off because he ends up getting a good gain on this play, but I feel like this did happen too often on these toss plays where he was a little bit late to find the cutback. Like, if you see, like, end man line scrimmage, which is 57. 57 has the outside leverage. Wright should already be off of that and going to 65, and I think that's Ed Oliver right there. But he's just late to see it, and once he stops, now is able to be like, oh, there's that cutback lane. So I feel like that's something he does need to work on and get better at. I think his vision and just like processing in general, which sometimes it comes with reps, which he doesn't have a ton of. But man, also just like things like this is where you can really see the acceleration. One is the toss play. Right here, 55, Braden Fisk, who's a rookie, very athletic D tackle. In this spot where he is perfectly in phase with Wright. The defender out here is like just about to get engaged with a tight end. So it's not like Wright can keep running the outside. Wright should get tackled by 55. Most running backs should get at least the D tackle should get a decent hit on them, like on like 90% of running backs. But since he's so, like, he has such great acceleration, he's able to just like only get a hand on him, and Wright is able to just run through that without really slowing down at all. Like right there, like he should get hit, tackled, maybe fall forward for a couple yards, be able to work through that pretty nicely and pick up probably an extra couple yards than he should. Like that's how I think is special his burst is. He's also the type of guy, like, when he did not have stacked boxes, like here, they only had a 6-man box, he's able to stay patient, bounce this to the outside, get skinny. Like I'm saying, when he is able to get through that sort of, like, first couple of yards, like, he's able to actually get to the line of scrimmage. When he was not able to get to the line of scrimmage, he was getting stuffed, not being able to create too much. But he was able to get to the line of scrimmage, he was able to accelerate past D linemen, and he's able to use that acceleration to then run into linebackers and then bounce off them and break tackles on second and third level defenders, which then that turns into like a 12-yard gain. So as long as you don't allow him to get hit in the backfield, which is the same thing for most running backs on pretty much every play, like he does a lot of good stuff. Like here, I like seeing him get it, like reading this is where like a toss where he didn't actually get hit in the backfield right away. He's actually able to read this stuff, find a cutback lane. He's not getting hit instantly. He's able to get upfield, show some efficient feet here to get back on the path to the outside. Gets knocked over, but falls right around that first down line. Lots to like, I think, with Jaylen Wright from a traits perspective, just as a scheme fit. You saw the good moments. It's just the Dolphins couldn't run the ball as the season went on, and there was only so many touches to have in the backfield anyway. That Achane was getting a lot of them because the Dolphins basically just turned a lot of their running game into screens, and Achane was clearly your best receiving back. So I think when the Dolphins are going to try to find more balance next year, I think Wright's going to get more opportunities. I think they're going to have a better run blocking O-line because that's something that they clearly know that they need. If they don't, then every running back would be screwed from the Dolphins, not just Wright. So I expect to see a year 2 breakout for Jaylen Wright. So if you're the video, comment and subscribe to the